Thomas Torres notices something wrong when he looks out the window from seat 13A for the third time. Outside, at 5:55 a.m., he sees his own house. Front door, porch. But he shouldn't be seeing his house. He lives in Portland, and this Vail transportation bus left Seattle heading to Vancouver, 400 miles apart. Thomas blinks. Probably a house that looks similar. Portland has thousands of craftsman homes. But when he looks again, he sees his car in the driveway. Same dent on the rear bumper from last month. Same parking sticker. And there's someone at the door taking out keys. Opening it. Walking inside. The person turns their head for a split second before entering. Thomas sees the face clearly. It's him. But Thomas is here. On the bus. Awake. In seat 13A. The bus number 404 cuts through the pre-dawn fog, but the landscape outside keeps showing streets Thomas recognizes. His neighborhood, his block, his life. He closes his eyes, counts to 10, opens them, still 5:55 a.m. on his phone, always 5:55. The sun should be rising any minute now. But the sky stays the exact same shade of dark blue. If you've ever felt like you were watching your life from the outside, leave a comment and subscribe, because this journey will make you question which version of you is real. 14 hours earlier, Thomas bought the ticket at the automated kiosk at Seattle's King Street Station. $43 to Vancouver. The 4:30 a.m. bus, first departure of the day on Interstate 5 North. The attendant, a woman around 55 with a faded Vail transportation vest, said safe travels without making eye contact. Normal. Everything normal. Thomas needed this trip. Job interview in Vancouver at 9 a.m. Regional manager position. Better pay. Better life. His alarm went off at 3:15 a.m. He showered, dressed in his interview suit, grabbed his leather portfolio, left his apartment at 3:50, caught the first bus to the station. All normal. Routine. Real. Thomas chooses window seat row 13. He notices the number but doesn't care about superstitions. Across the aisle, a young woman in her 20s types on a laptop, earbuds in. 3 rows ahead, a businessman in his 50s reads the Seattle Times on his tablet. In the back, a college student sleeps against his backpack. The driver, badge says M. Carson, announces estimated time, 2 hours 45 minutes. No stops until border crossing. Thomas leans against the window. Familiar vibration of the engine. Smell of coffee from someone's thermos and recycled air. Comforting, almost. 23 minutes after departure, Thomas looks at his phone. 4:53 a.m. Correct. But the last sign they passed said, Seattle city limits, 15 miles. Which is gone south. They were heading north. Thomas frowns. Probably saw it wrong. Dark out there, easy to confuse in the fog. He looks again. Now there are no signs, just highway. Streetlights every 200 feet, perfectly equal intervals. Thomas counts. 200 feet. 200 feet. 200 feet. Strange how they're so regular. Like someone measured them. Like a pattern that shouldn't exist on a natural highway. Thomas checks his phone. 5:11 a.m., almost 40 minutes of travel. But, wait. He looks again. 5:11. Seconds passing. Normal. But he remembers checking 5 minutes ago and it was 5:11. Obviously, he misremembered, or wasn't paying attention. Thomas opens the clock app, sets a timer, starts it, counts 60 seconds mentally. Looks. Timer shows 0000. It reset. He presses start again, watches carefully. The seconds count up. 01, 02, 03. At 27 seconds, it jumps back to 00. Starts over. The app is glitching. Has to be. He looks out the window. The fog is thick now, but he can see shapes. Buildings. A coffee shop. That's the Stumptown on his street. His actual street in Portland. But they're nowhere near Portland. They should be halfway to Tacoma by now. Thomas presses his face to the glass. The coffee shop passes. Next building, his gym. Then the Thai restaurant where he eats every Thursday. His neighborhood. Impossible. Excuse me, Thomas calls to the woman with the laptop. She doesn't look up. Excuse me, do you see those buildings out there? She pulls one earbud out. What buildings? The shops. That coffee place. She looks out her window across the aisle. I just see fog. But... She puts her earbud back in, turns to her screen. Thomas looks again. The buildings are still there, passing by, clear as day. 5:24 a.m., still. Thomas has checked his phone 17 times in what feels like an hour, always 5:24. The businessman with the tablet stands, stretches, walks to the bathroom at the back. Thomas watches him in the window's reflection, sees him walk down the aisle. But outside the window in the fog, Thomas sees something else. The businessman, walking down a sidewalk. The same man, same suit, different place. The reflection shows one thing. The view outside shows another. Both can't be real. Thomas stands up. His legs are stiff. He walks toward the driver. Excuse me, how long until Vancouver? The driver doesn't turn. Hour and 20, sir. But we've been driving for almost an hour already. Shouldn't we be closer? Hour and 20, sir. Can you tell me what mile marker we just passed? The driver glances at the rearview mirror. Eyes tired. We're on schedule, sir. Please return to your seat. Thomas walks back slowly. The laptop woman is gone. Her laptop is still there, open, screen glowing. But her seat is empty. He looks around. The businessman is back in his seat. The student still asleep. But he counts. 1, 2, 3, 4 people. There were 5 when they started, weren't there? Or 4. He remembers boarding, watching each person. There were 5. He's certain, almost certain. Thomas sits back down. 5:31 a.m. now. 6 minutes passed, or did they? He looks out the window. The fog has thinned slightly. He can see more clearly now. And what he sees makes his stomach drop. His apartment building. His actual apartment. 5th floor, 3rd window from the left. He can see inside. The lights are on. Someone is moving around. Making coffee. Thomas leans closer. The person is wearing his blue robe. The one hanging in his bathroom. Was hanging. He left it there this morning. The figure walks to the window, looks out. For a moment, Thomas thinks the person will see him, see the bus. But the figure just stares out at the morning, takes a sip of coffee, and walks away. That's impossible, Thomas whispers. He checks his phone. 5:31. He pulls up his home security app, the one connected to his door camera. Loads the live feed. The timestamp says 5:31 a.m. The feed shows his door. Closed. But then the handle turns. The door opens. Someone exits. Blue robe. The person locks the door, walks toward the elevator. The camera catches the face. It's Thomas. Exact same face. Same morning stubble. Same tired eyes. But Thomas is here. On this bus. He's not at home. He left. He remembers leaving. Thomas's hands shake. He closes the app. Opens his messages. Texts his sister. Are you awake? No response. He texts again. Did I tell you I had an interview in Vancouver today? 3 dots appear, then disappear, then appear again. Response. What interview? You texted me last night saying you were staying in today. Sick day. Thomas stares at the screen. No. I told you about this interview 2 weeks ago. 3 dots. Thomas, you don't have a job. You've been unemployed for 3 months. Are you okay? He reads it again. Unemployed for 3 months. But he works at Morrison and Associates. Regional sales. He's been there 4 years. He had his annual review last month. Got a raise. This interview is for a competitor. Better position. He remembers all of this. It's real, isn't it? Thomas puts his phone down, breathes deeply. In for 4. Out for 6. Like his therapist taught him. His therapist. Dr. Reeves, Wednesday afternoons at 2 p.m. except, when was his last appointment? He tries to remember. Last Wednesday? No. 2 Wednesdays ago. Or, has he been going? The memory feels slippery, like trying to hold water. He looks at the window, not through it, but at it, at his reflection. The reflection shows him sitting in seat 13A, wearing his suit. But the suit in the reflection is wrinkled, stained. The Thomas in the reflection looks tired, unshaven for days, eyes hollow. Thomas touches his face, clean-shaven. He shaved this morning. He remembers the razor, the cream, the small cut on his jaw that stung. He touches the spot. No cut. Smooth skin. But he remembers the pain, the drop of blood, the tissue he pressed against it. The reflection moves differently. Slow, delayed. Thomas lifts his right hand. The reflection lifts its left. Wrong. Mirror reflections should be flipped, yes, but they should move simultaneously. This reflection is 2 seconds behind. Thomas waves. The reflection waves. Late. He mouths words. What are you? The reflection's lips don't move, but then they do. They form different words. What are you? You see it too, don't you? The voice comes from behind. Thomas turns. The college student from the back is awake now, standing in the aisle, looking at Thomas with an expression that's hard to read. Pity? Fear? See what? Thomas asks. The window. It shows you something. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. That's why you keep looking. That's why you're crying. Thomas touches his face. Wet. He didn't realize. I'm not. It's okay, the student says. Mine shows my mom. She's sick. Stage 4. I was going to Vancouver to say goodbye, but in the window I see her funeral. I see myself not there. I see her dying alone because I missed the flight, because I took this bus instead. That hasn't happened, Thomas says. It's not real. Isn't it? The student looks out the window on the opposite side. How do you know what's real? Maybe the window shows the real world. And this, he gestures around the bus, is the dream. Thomas stands, walks to the front. Driver, I need you to stop the bus. No response. Driver! The man finally turns, and Thomas sees. It's not the same face. The badge still says M. Carson, but the face is different, older or younger. Thomas can't tell. It keeps shifting. We don't stop until Vancouver, sir. Where are we right now? What city? We're on I-5 North, schedule. That's not an answer. Pull over. I want to get off. Can't do that, sir. Safety regulations. Thomas feels panic rising. He walks back. The businessman is awake now too, looking at Thomas. You should sit down, the businessman says calmly. You should relax. Do you see what's outside? Thomas points at the windows. Do you see Portland? Do you see streets that shouldn't be here? The businessman glances out, back to Thomas. I see fog. Just fog. Just fog. But the businessman's hand trembles slightly when he says it. He sees something. Thomas is certain. Thomas returns to seat 13A. He's exhausted. When did he last sleep? Last night. He slept 6 hours. Good sleep, but it feels like weeks, months. He looks at his phone for the time and freezes. The lock screen photo. It's him and his sister at her wedding. 3 years ago. But in the photo, he's not there. The photo shows his sister and her husband. The spot where Thomas stood is empty, just background. But he was there. He gave a speech. Everyone laughed when he told the story about teaching her to ride a bike. He remembers every detail. He opens his Photos app, scrolls back. Every photo with him in it. He's gone, erased, removed. But everyone else is there. Friends, family, co-workers. Just not him. His finger hovers over a group photo from the company holiday party last year. 9 people. He should be in the middle, but there are 8 people. The space where he stood is filled by someone else, someone he doesn't recognize. Outside the window, Thomas sees his sister's house now. He sees through her living room window. She's there, on the couch, with her husband. They're laughing at something on TV, happy, content, and Thomas realizes they look more relaxed than he's ever seen them. No tension, no stress. The stress he always thought was normal. But maybe it was him. Maybe he was the weight they carried. Thomas checks the time again. 5:55 a.m. It's been 5:55 for... He doesn't know how long. He's checked hundreds of times. Always 5:55. The sky outside is still the same dark blue. Not getting lighter. Not getting darker. Frozen. The horizon glows faintly like dawn is about to break. Any second now. But it never does. We're almost there, the driver announces over the speaker. Vancouver, 15 minutes. But they've been 15 minutes away for an eternity. Thomas knows this. He looks around. The laptop woman is back now. When did she return? She types continuously, never stopping, never looking up. The businessman reads the same page of his tablet, over and over. The student stares out the window, tears on his face, never blinking. Thomas stands up one more time, walks to the window on the opposite side of the bus, the side he hasn't looked at yet, and what he sees there makes everything clear, or makes nothing clear. He sees the bus. This bus, Vale Transportation Darber 404, driving down the highway. He sees himself in seat 13A, looking out the window. But the Thomas in that bus is looking at another bus, and another, and another. Infinite reflections, infinite versions, each one looking out, each one seeing their life continue without them. Which one is real? Thomas asks no one. The businessman answers anyway. Does it matter? Yes. Why? Because... Thomas tries to find the answer. Because I need to know if I'm alive. Are you? The businessman looks at him directly for the first time. Are you alive? Or did you miss the interview because you never woke up? Or did you take pills last night? Or did you fall asleep at the wheel? Or did you choose this? Maybe you chose this. Thomas runs to the front of the bus, grabs the driver's shoulder. The driver doesn't react, keeps driving. Thomas sees the road ahead. It's not a road, it's a loop. They're driving in a circle, a perfect circle. The same mile markers, same signs, same fog. Forever. Let me off, Thomas screams. No one responds. He runs to the emergency exit, pulls the handle. It doesn't move. Locked. He pulls harder. Brakes. The handle snaps off in his hand. But the door stays sealed. Thomas pounds on the window. It doesn't crack. Doesn't even shake. Like it's not glass. Like it's something solid. Permanent. He collapses in the aisle. Please, he whispers. Please let me go home. The laptop woman stops typing. Looks at him. You are home. What? This is where you live now. This is where you've always lived. You just forgot for a while. I have an apartment, a job, a sister. Do you? She tilts her head. Or do you have a window that shows those things? And you've been watching so long you think they're yours? Thomas crawls back to seat 13A. Looks out. His apartment again. The version of him inside is packing a suitcase now. Getting ready for a trip. A vacation maybe. Somewhere warm. Somewhere bright. That Thomas looks happy. Looks free. Looks like he's not trapped on a bus at 5:55 a.m. forever. I could have been him, Thomas says. You were him, the student says softly. You chose this instead. I didn't choose anything. Didn't you? What's the last choice you remember making? The real last choice, Thomas thinks, and can't remember. When did he decide to take the bus? Did he decide? Or did someone tell him to? Did he want the interview? Or was he running from something? The memories blur together. Blend. Separate. Reconstruct incorrectly. Thomas opens his eyes. White light. Hospital? No. His apartment. In Portland. His apartment. Wait. Portland? He was going to Vancouver. Or was about to. He sits up in bed. Clock 3:15 a.m. Tuesday. Tuesday? The trip was Tuesday morning. He looks around. Everything normal. His furniture, his things, his clothes from yesterday draped on the chair, the phone on the nightstand. He picks it up, opens messages. Last conversation. Sister, yesterday. Good luck with the interview tomorrow, you'll do great. He types, thanks, leaving in an hour. Sent at 3:16 a.m., just now. He didn't leave yet, hasn't left, will leave. Soon. Thomas goes to the bathroom, looks in the mirror. Normal. His face. Tired but normal. He splashes water, brushes his teeth, gets dressed. Same suit he remembers wearing, or will wear, or is wearing. 3:45 a.m. He should leave. Catch the bus. The 4:30 a.m. Vail transportation to Vancouver. Seat 13A. Window seat. He reserved it specifically. Or did it assign itself? Thomas picks up his portfolio. Keys. Wallet. Phone. Everything he needs. He walks to the door, hand on the handle, and stops. On the small table by the door, there's a ticket. Printed ticket. Vail transportation, Seattle to Vancouver. Seat 13A. Date, yesterday. Time, 4:30 a.m. Passenger, Thomas Torres. Used, torn at the corner where they validate. Thomas picks it up, turns it over. On the back, written in red ink, thank you for riding with us, you'll be back soon. M. Carson. Thomas drops the ticket, but he didn't take the bus. He's taking it today, in 45 minutes. He canceled. Didn't he? He opens his phone, calendar. Today, Tuesday, interview 9 a.m. Yesterday, Monday, no events. But didn't he go to the gym? Monday, he scrolls. No gym check-in, no location data. His phone shows he was home all day Monday, never left. But he remembers leaving, remembers talking to people, remembers the bus. Thomas opens the door, walks into the hallway, takes the elevator down, exits the building. The street is empty. 3:52 a.m. Quiet. He starts walking toward the bus stop and sees something that makes his blood freeze. The bus. Vail Transportation, Ymir 404, already there, waiting. At 3:52 a.m., 38 minutes early, the door is open. Driver inside. Badge says M. Carson. The driver waves at Thomas. Friendly, inviting, like they're old friends.
Thomas steps closer, looks through the windows. He sees passengers, the laptop woman, the businessman, the student, all there, all waiting. And in seat 13A, someone sits, looking out the window. As Thomas gets closer, the person turns their head. It's him. Exact same face, same suit, same tired eyes. That Thomas mouths something. Thomas reads the lips. Don't get on. But Thomas's feet keep moving. One step, another, up the stairs, into the bus. The door closes behind him.
The seated Thomas in 13A is gone now. Seat empty. Thomas walks to it, sits down, buckles in, looks out the window, and sees his apartment building. 5th floor, 3rd window from the left. The lights turn on. Someone moves inside, makes coffee, wearing his blue robe. The figure walks to the window, looks out. For a moment, Thomas thinks the person will see him, see the bus. But the figure just stares out at the morning, takes a sip of coffee, and walks away. The bus starts moving. 3:55 a.m. No. 4:30 a.m. No. 5:55 a.m. Always 5:55. The driver announces, next stop, Vancouver, 15 minutes. And Thomas knows. He knows he'll never arrive. He knows he's been on this bus forever. Or he's never gotten on. Or he's still deciding whether to get on. All three are true. Or none are. The window shows his life continuing without him. And maybe that's better. Maybe that Thomas, the one drinking coffee, the one going to work, the one who exists, maybe he's happier not knowing about the bus, not knowing about the window, not knowing that every choice splits reality, and sometimes you choose the split where you disappear. Thomas leans his head against the glass, watches his life play out outside, watches himself live, and wonders if the version watching is more real than the version being watched, or if both are equally fake. The fog rolls in again. The highway loops. 5:55 a.m. glows on every clock. Forever dawn, forever in between, forever on the bus, unless he never got on. Unless he's still standing on the street deciding, unless this is all the 38 minutes before the bus arrives. Time stretched, reality flexible, memory unreliable. Thomas never found out the truth. Maybe it was exhaustion, maybe a psychological break, maybe carbon monoxide in his apartment building. CO poisoning causes vivid hallucinations. Perfectly rational explanation, except for the ticket. And except that, 2 weeks later, Thomas, or the Thomas who stayed, or the Thomas who left, or whichever Thomas is left, sees a news report. Vail Transportation bus reported missing on I-5 North Route, 4 passengers. Last known location, near Tacoma, Washington. Bus number 404. And in the video, when they show photos of the missing, Thomas sees himself. Interview suit, portfolio, seat 13A, window seat. But Thomas is alive, at home, watching TV, isn't he? Then who's on the bus? And if the Thomas watching is the reflection and the real Thomas is driving, always driving, to Vancouver, 15 minutes away, forever, 5:55, never arriving, which version deserves to exist? What do you think happened? Did Thomas have a mental break? Or is something on that bus real? Was he ever really on it? Or is he still standing on the street deciding whether to board? Leave your theory in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, hit that like button and subscribe. Because sometimes the scariest journey is the one that makes you question which version of yourself is real, and whether the life you're living is the one you chose, or the one you're just watching through a window.